Crisis and adversity are hidden everywhere in our lives. In any case, it takes a determination to become the master of one's own life and break through one's own path. Today, I'm going to introduce you to 7 life-changing quotes that only 1% of people know about, published hundreds of years ago in a book that teaches the wisdom of how to live life. 1. Be the master of your mind and stay awake. What we hear with our ears and what we see with our eyes are enemies that penetrate from the outside, and desires arising from emotions and intentions pursued in consciousness are enemies from within. However, if the master is clearly awake and sits on the main floor, the enemies will be immediately influenced and become your servants. Only then will you be able to resist the temptations that come from inside and outside. As we go through life, we are swept away by many temptations and impulses. Some arise from the mind and consciousness, and others that penetrate from outside. The sages often portrayed these as enemies, all of them infiltrating themselves to harm themselves. The reason to listen to this is that if temptations comes from within, from the outside, if we keep our minds awake, our enemies will eventually yield to our righteousness. 2. The ego cycle. When the heart is troubled, it is often a wonderful thing that makes the heart happy. Just because you're in a difficult time right now, or conversely, saying that everything is going well, you feel frustrated while thinking that you will continue to do so in the future. It is said that happiness comes at the end of hardship. As the saying goes, after enduring hardships, pleasant things will happen. Conversely, there is a saying that I am the end parasite, meaning that when pleasure reaches its peak, sorrow arises. Rock is hard to enjoy for a long time and usually comes with sadness at the end. The joys and sorrows of life do not stay for a moment but change and cycle. Therefore, don't get frustrated because it's difficult right now. And if you endure well, joy will come to everyone soon. Also, if you are not arrogant because everything is going well and you are happy, you will be able to cope with crisis well if you prepare in advance. 3. The happiness achieved after a lot of training lasts forever. Only those who alternate between suffering and pleasure, train and run, reach the extreme and achieve happiness. That happiness lasts long. Only those who have attained knowledge by alternately repeating doubts and convictions, then the knowledge is true. This is because it is not something that was obtained with the will of oneself. It is knowledge that is immediately located and cannot be used in life. It is knowledge that has been obtained through hard work and is not easily shaken. Likewise, in life, happiness given by birth or happiness acquired by chance doesn't last long, because it's not something you worked for yourself. I will live my life with the thought that it is a happiness that I have achieved at the end of a life that was painful and enjoyable several times and was only achieved through singular judgment. 4. You have to empty it so it doesn't overflow. The smoking bowl turns over when it is filled with water, and the piggy bank is intact when it's empty. Therefore, a person does not remain in existence, even though he is not, and he does not go to perfection even though he has flaws. A growing bowl and a full piggy bank symbolize the principle that if you enjoy money, fame, power, and glory to the limit, then destruction will follow. If you want to live your life well, you have to stay in a low place, and even if you are lacking a little, you have to fill in the shortcomings little by little. When all things become prosperous, let go of the idea that I am not good at chatting. Even the most intelligent and talented people live to look a little clumsy and foolish. The brave live with fear. The wealthy live their lives wisely by guarding the sword. It's the secret to living. 5. Impatient and dry misfortune. An impatient person is like a burning fire, trying to burn everything he encounters. A person with no compassion is like a cold ice cube, always trying to kill anything it collides with. A person who is clogged up front and back is like stagnant water, or a rotten tree, whose vitality has already ceased. It is difficult for any of these people to achieve great achievements or bring blessings. It will be difficult to get along with a person who is impatient and who lacks compassion. These are the people who try to burn or destroy everyone they meet instead of helping them. So it's a loss if you upload it with them. Best to avoid. A person with a mild reflection and a warm heart will have a thick and long-lasting happiness. A cold person makes friends far away. A warm person draws a friend. When the energy warms up, everything revives. Just as the energy of heaven and earth recedes when it cools down, so is our life history. How we should use our minds to live can be found in the relationship between climate and all things. 6. Thoughts and actions change according to heart. If your mind is upright and bright, you can see the blue sky in a dark room. And if your thoughts are foolish and dark, you will see goblins even in broad daylight. We humans have big differences in our thoughts and actions, depending on how we have our minds, and our lives change greatly depending on our mindset. On the other hand, if you have a dark mind, you will report a vain delusion like a goblin, no matter how bright it is in broad daylight. However, Han Yong-un said that there are many people in Korea, and in the essays in Korea, Meliza, the devil is a self-made thing. There is a saying in the old basin that if there is a lot of doubt, they come together for alcohol. Please refrain from yourself and practice your will, and go out filled with righteousness that shines like the blue sky in the bright sun. 7. There is no fish in the overly clear water. Dirty grass grows luxuriantly, but there are no request fish in water that is too clear. Therefore, the military should do well. But I can't be a genius who only acts alone because I like it. If the water is too clear, there are no fish. When people talk too much, no one gets close. If you act upright on your own, there will be fewer people around you. Therefore, if you want to live in harmony with others, you must be moderately clean and moderately dirty. Especially if you want to do big things, you need a discipline that embraces even the funniest and dirty people. Dementia in ponds, in which the following story of the Chunchu-wa clan is told, and forests in mountains hide bad creatures. Hiding the beautiful or flaws, the monarch of a country embraces the filthy. Today, I explained that all of these are the 7 life-changing quotes that only 1% of the people selected by Chae Geun-dam know a lot. Human life is the same regardless of East and West. Even though today's content is old, don't talk about living in today's complex world. I think it can teach us many lessons too. It shows how to live in a difficult world if you endure the world without running away or avoiding it. If we engrave the stories of Yechon's wisdom in our hearts and put them into practice, then your people will be much more free, much softer, and more relaxed than before. It was a bookmark. Cheers to your success and happiness.